Hello and welcome to the No Faces Comic Chat. I'm your host, Bub, and with me, as always, yep, that's right, as always, we got the one, the only, he's got more metal in him than a bag full of nickels, Metarog.
Hey, that was total confidence.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Hey, Bub.
I gotta get my HIPAA forms in order for this chat. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, that's right, man. You got to get that release. You know that.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Roger, I never forget to get my release.
All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great to be back here on Monday nights. We've been doing this we've been kind of on a roll here, maybe 2-3 weeks in a row. Woo!
I think we're pretty steady. Yeah, we're getting more than we're missing this year so far.
Right? Yeah, we're above the like the batting average leaders in baseball. So I think
absolutely.
Yeah,
I believe you're right. Oh man, so here we are. So far it's the two of us. I don't know if Jambo, he might be out of town this week. I don't know. He gets stuck in West Virginia and stuff often. But if anybody else who's in the No Faces chat wants to jump on, I can't believe we don't have more people clamoring to be part of this topic, because after all, who doesn't like a good robot? Right, Roger?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Yeah. But sometimes what it's kind of a hassle, for people, maybe, Bub. I mean, they got to do their collection, they got to get the stuff, then they got to put up with you and me. It's not easy.
I prefer to hassle people, if at all possible. It doesn't bother me at all. I take it as one of my great many joys in life is to hairy ass others. All right, well, let's see. Who do we got? Who in their infinite who? There's a bunch of owls flying through the barn tonight. Who in their infinite wisdom has made time out of their busy Monday schedule to join us this fine Monday evening? Tell us, Roger, who them there is in the chat? Who they?
All right. Well, coming in as usual, tailgating here, but even before we even got up this morning, is Las Cruces 1971. How you doing, James?
He liked my last video before I posted it.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you,
how he does that. I think he works for Google. He's a bot. I think he's a bot.
Cognitive somehow, I tell you.
Yes.
Our buddy Steve and Spock is here. I hope you and Spock are doing well, Steve. Thank you for coming by.
Spock is his dog, by the way, in case you all didn't know.
Correct. That's correct. That is correct. The unruliest of simians is here as usual with his peace sign, my neighbor here to the north. John's Comics with Kids is gracing us with his presence this Monday.
What a grace it is.
Just off his showing up to MegaCon here in Orlando and receiving an Avengers 1 from Steve Whiting, as I recall. So congratulations, John. Great to have you.
I got to get better friends.
I tell you that. I tell you. He's a good one, boy. Our buddy, the Gray Man from London Way, is here, as well as Area Man Morris, as always. Greetings, Earthlings.
Yes. Hey, Morris, when are you getting your channel back? Is it on
permanent
hiatus?
He does have a channel. He changed his name, but I put it in the link last time. I'll see if I can put it again.
But it's the same channel, right?
He had to re-up it because it got hacked. His old channel got hacked.
But so if I was subscribed to Bad Dad, am I still subscribed to Area Man?
That's my question. I don't think so. You have to go to Area Man.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, everybody head over, visit Morris Bat, one of the best man caves in the community, comic caves in the community.
Disgustingly good. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. I've been called that before, but it never sounded so good. There you
go. Our good friend Brett Bottomley, longtime supporter, is here as well.
I owe that guy $20. I don't know. I can't remember.
With interest, it's now like 2,000. I tell you. Our main man from Louisiana, probably. Jackson Roy Kirk. I still think he's an angel anyway, but he's welcome.
Where is he?
Here.
Where's Jackson Roy Kirk? I can't find him.
Yeah, he's there.
Oh, there he is.
Seawood, our buddy Carson is up there from Indiana Way, is here again, a long-time supporter. as well as our buddy Tony Old Wolf 65. How you doing, Bob and Roger?
Yeah, good to have you there, Tony.
And the comic chef out with the fillet knives here, coming in to say,
"Hey, Jamie's showing up. Welcome, Jamie. Good to have you."
Yeah, good to have you, buddy. And I think, unless I missed somebody, I think that's it.
Well, if they came late, they deserve to be not recognized until awkwardly later in the middle when I'll put up their little symbol and I'll do one of these.
Yeah, well, the old eyes aren't what they used to be here, bub. So.
Yeah, I know. Neither are the new eyes.
And neither anything on me actually. they're all in different stages of decay. Just some slower than others.
So, like, I have I'm getting old, man. So,
Please, I don't even know what old is yet.
Today, I do. Today, I enlarged my text on my screen so that I could see it.
That's just the first step, Bob. That's the first step.
Oh, man.
Oh,
good.
When you go to audio assist, that's when you know you're gone.
I'm not far off, but I'm still at the point where when audio assist turns itself on, seemingly, it takes me 10 minutes to figure out how to shut it off. Mm-hmm. So that could be a precursor as well.
Yeah. It all goes downhill eventually, my friend.
Jambo's stuck in Tennessee today.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't think he's going to make it. So there you go. There's your answer for all those asking.
Oh, maybe Simon will make an appearance, or Russ. You know how they like to come on.
Yeah, anybody wants to jump in, you guys are always welcome. Jump in at any time. You don't have to be here for just don't show your face. That's all we ask. And show us some good robots, because that's our topic tonight. Oh, I gave it away. Dadgummit. Roger, what's our? Do you remember our team name at least?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right,
what is it? Remember?
Well, who are we?
Oh, you want me to say it? Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You have to recall it. You have to remember and recall. That's how that works.
Specific, you did.
Yes.
Do I know it? Yes. Do I want to talk about it? Well, that's another question. Now, is it?
That is another question. I'm asking it though.
Yeah, it's the Rusty Robotic Relics.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I tell you,
we're looking for somebody to grease our old ball bearings. Anybody out there?
The old neurons are still firing, at quarter speed,
If you smell smoke, that's just me working. Yeah.
That's the friction.
We're the metal-headed rust buckets today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was very close. It was very close. Yeah, I'm not going to split hairs.
I got the rust part in there.
You did. Yeah. And today we're talking about robots, or robots, as some people say. I don't think I've actually heard anyone say that, but I feel like there's people out there who would, given the opportunity. So we're talking about robots, cyborgs, and androids, or androids and cyborgs, whatever. All three of those, okay? We're talking about all three of those. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter to me exactly which are which, okay?
Oh, man.
So, all right. But we will discuss a little bit about... Look, we're all technically robots. Here we go. We're already falling into the matrix. How many pills do we have to take to find our way out? I suppose wife calls his junk. Which one? The robotic piston? Is that what you said? No, I don't think that. Robots. Row. I can't say that.
Robots.
Oh, row. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, like a row your butt. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. I'm with you, brother. All right. That's enough of that. These guys are getting way too friendly. All right, so let's see. And also, the Prime auction is going on right now over at mycomicshop.com. So I am a little split in my attentions. So if it sounds like I'm not listening, I'm probably not listening. Hey, Benny C's in the house. Comic Mag Music. Bill, you got to get in on this. You've got a bunch of robotic. Oh, that's just your delivery. No, I don't guess.
Yeah.
I don't guess. Yeah. Whatever the android he has running his channel. I think that's
rumors are that he is not all human.
He's certainly not all there. So what is there is barely human. That's what we've decided.
Listen. I don't necessarily forward gossip, but when there's that much smoke, there's got to be a little fire somewhere.
I totally agree. And you know what? Bill's been such a long time supporter of our channel. We'll try and fire up his computer right now. There it is. We'll see if we can get old Billy fired up and on the stream tonight. We'll try and get that working. Let us know if this robotic arm is connected to anything, Bill, and maybe you'll join us. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that might do it.
And how? All right. So I'll start things off as I usually do. There I am. Oh, what a good-looking guy. This one, you knew it was coming. It was all over the thumbnail. RoboCop. Look at that. Now this we're gonna. Oh, okay. So we should discuss this just a little because right here you have two great examples of two out of the three of our. Actually, I guess it could be four. I think it's all three. Okay. So here, the Ed 209, right? Yeah. He's gonna be a classic robot. In that he basically is programmed to do a job. He does the job, not purposefully programmed with any kind of emotions or high level thinking. He's a workhorse, right?
Right.
He's also designed for function, not form necessarily. So he is not trying to imitate a human in any way.
Correct.
So, and in that sense, he's a robot. He has a function. He's set to do his function, and he is not trying to replicate a human in any way.
Correct.
So that's where I'm calling a robot. Now, RoboCop, we're going to call. Would you agree with that, Roger? That's a robot, right?
Well, I think he's a cyborg because he has.
What, Ed 209 is a cyborg?
No.
Oh, yeah, we're talking about Ed 209. Are you agree he's a robot?
No, I agree 100%. Robot.
All right. Now, for this one, we have a mix to me of android and cyborg. So, which generally your cyborgs are going to be androids already. But we're going to say he's a cyborg because he blends tissue and mechanical parts. So two different kinds there. You have some biologics going on. And then you have obviously the stop or I'll shoot mechanism there. He's definitely a robot as well. So he's an android also because he is simulating a human. But really, he's a cyborg. So there you go. There's your cyborgs. A good cyborg and robot combo. Wouldn't you agree, Roger, if I paid you enough?
Even if you didn't, I would agree. Yes. Based upon the movie lore, definitely there is some of human parts besides his face, obviously. His brain is obviously in there. So even though it was, I believe that he was brain dead, but somehow his willpower overcame that and he started remembering.
They wiped his memory.
Yeah.
They wiped his memory. Yeah. Those dirty OC peers. Yeah. Speaking of OC peers, we've got Comic Mag Musings coming in hot with the $3 thank you bid. What a good man. If we don't talk about him enough, it's just because we run out of good things to say about him. But generally, we're very thankful for our most generous and gracious benefactor, although anyone who wants to challenge him is more than welcome. Receipts issued at the end of the year. So there's his $2 and he customary $3, always with the odd numbers. So he gets 2 there, and then he gets I can't find my gorilla. Now, how many times do I say that a week?
Oh, that's
look, everyone's making there's 2 and 1 more for 3. So congratulations. Thank you so much. The gorilla's just, if you can't read lips, she's saying it's not what it looks like. He's the plumber. He just came to lay some pipe. It's not what it looks like, is what she's saying there. So thank you very much, Bill, for your generous contribution. Back to the show. Cyborgs are human / robot. Ooh, look, he's getting all tacticular on us. Just like a man, put you to work even after you've reached the cold comfort of the grave. Oh, look at that. I tell you. All right. So here's some more. That's, of course, the RoboCop adaptation. Here's the Robot Cop 2 adaptation there. He's a cyborg, though. Those dirty OCPers. Here's a nice photo covered. If Peter Weller's still kicking, I might get him to sign this someday.
I think he is, yeah.
I know he's kicking now, but the next time I see him.
The next time you see, I got you.
Yeah, he's still kicking, but I'm hoping he's still kicking when we cross paths. And now to get into a little bit more of a controversial one. So here is RoboCop versus Terminator. Now, Terminator is real tricky because to me, that's more of a robot in this form. He's a robot. And then when he dons his, human skin to be in stealth mode and infiltration mode, then I would say at that point he's a cyborg. But at this point he's a robot.
I would take issue with that, Bub, because
let's hear it.
He was constructed as a robot. The skin was actually never a human. In other words, it never had any intelligence behind it. It's purely camouflage.
Right.
So there's no part of the Terminator that was ever a human. So how can he be a cyborg?
Well, then, but it is human tissue. So you're just saying that the tissue, since it has no thought process,
right? It was never part of a human. I mean, if it was a human, that somehow they converted into a Terminator with some kind of part, it's different. But my understanding is that they grew those tissues from clones or whatever, so it was never part of a sentient being.
So here Unruly Simeon is saying takes more than one organ to make a robot a human. So that would or a cyborg rather. So more than one organ, and he's saying skin is an organ, right?
It is.
So I guess at that point, depending on the organ, some women may, they may disagree as to whether they're Roomba if they stick the right attachment on it. But basically, we're saying we agree. I guess at best he's an android.
At best, yes.
At best, he's an android when he has his human skin.
He's the form of a human. That's true.
But he's not. I mean, kind of. Right? He's not really trying to be a human. They're just using it as a template for motor functions.
Yes.
Yeah.
But physically speaking, I mean, if you just see him on in the street, obviously he's bigger than most humans. But you would say, okay, that's a human. You wouldn't automatically think, oh, that's some kind of automaton, cyborg, whatever.
Right.
So it's just camouflage. I mean, to me, let me just give you my opinion, right?
I'm listening.
To be a cyborg, there has to be some kind of consciousness of a human as part of that, even if it's just brain waves or whatever.
Really?
Yeah. But if you just have like somebody's heart or somebody's lungs and the rest is robotic, I wouldn't call that cyborg. Okay, because there was never a human consciousness part of the whole mechanism.
All right. I think I'm with you. Still thinking, but I'm thinking I'm with you.
I'm sure people will disagree, but that's just Metarog's definition.
Well, no, I'm good with it unless we come up with something else. Okay. Like if there's an example that helps to further clarify that, then we'll see. Never say to Miller, Wayne. There you go. Let's see. Humanoid robot, android/robot. A humanoid robot or synthetic organism designed to imitate a human. Humanoid robot or synthetic organism. So yeah, so he would be an android with a very, very, very good disguise, right? When he's in his a near perfect disguise. Just a robot in disguise. Don't give it away. We got more. Jackson Roy Kirk. If you're gonna be dropping those big hints, you got to come on and show us what you mean. Humanoid. Roger talking about putters.
Pewters.
Oh, pewters. That makes sense. All right, you guys are way off base.
Hey, Tim,
all right,
how
here's
you doing, buddy?
more.
We got the comic collector in the house.
Welcome, welcome. Good to have you. Leave your keys in the bowl and see who you go home with. There's your RoboCop versus Terminator. Some more of that. It's a very interesting story too. If you've not read it, I do recommend it. All right, so that's what I'm starting out with these fine folks of the fine folksness here with their fine folks. All right.
Hey.
All right. What do you got, Roger?
Okay. Well, obviously, if you can see here on my screen, I have
your camera is working. Confirmed.
My camera is working. Okay, great. The lighting is a little off, but oh well. One of my favorite characters.
We're fine.
Okay. One of my favorite characters from when Metarog was knee high to was just me, not even a meta. Deathlock, the Demolisher, Luther Manning. One of the very first comics I picked up was Astonishing Tales 26 back in 1974. And I was always enthralled with this character, the fact that the human soul is so difficult to quash.
Did you say quash? Or squash or quelch? Where are we? What conglomerated?
Yes, right.
What?
To snuff out, shall we say? Right.
All right. Yeah, let's say that.
Right. Now, similar to RoboCop, he was given orders, programmed, but at some point, it conflicted with his morals, and he rebelled, and eventually became fully sentient and. Really, the computer was more of an assistant than the leader, than the one that giving the orders that he had to follow.
Easy for you to say.
Right. So I have a few issues here. Is there an echo bug?
No.
Okay, because I'm hearing an echo on my over here.
I'll turn mine down a little bit, but then I won't be able to hear you as well. So it's a win-win.
No, it's okay. I know. Well, it could be a win-win. Right. So, Luther Manning was a decorated military man, soldier, strategist who, unfortunately, while saving a friend, ran afoul of a grenade or a landmine. I forgot which one. And which most of his body was utterly destroyed, except for most of his brain and some of his internal organs.
Why is he so ugly?
Well, because he, unfortunately, before they were able to perfect the system of turning him cybernetic, he decomposed to a good and that face that you see there is a decomposing flesh.
Yeah, because he looks like a zombie.
Yes, correct. That's right. And obviously when he saw that what he looked like, he was pretty horrified. But they used him this was a kind of a dystopian future where governments were kind of at the behest of corporations and gangs and things like that. And he was created to eliminate insurgents or those that would give those companies, those corporations, any kind of trouble, whether politically or militarily or etc. But of course, he figured out what was going on and then rebelled, and then ultimately he became a big thorn in the side to the government, corrupt government that was in control at that time, and ultimately was able to and much later on Captain America was able to overthrow them. Yeah. So as you can see here, once they found out that he was no longer under their control, they created other cyborgs like Werewolf to try to eliminate him.
Where?
Right there. That's
Where?
Werewolf. That's Werewolf.
Werewolf?
Werewolf.
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 Oh.
Yeah. Not werewolf. Werewolf.
Werewolf.
Yes. War.
All right, I see him now.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Hey, James, collecting chaos. Hey, Don, Mastodon. Again, just adored the rebellious nature. He would argue with the computer all the time. Like the computer obviously would calculate the best course of action and highest percentage of completion, right? So he would say 94% if targets can be eliminated with laser, and he was like, nope, no killing. So he was like down to 10%. You know,
that was a computer in his head.
Yes, correct.
Like, was it hardwired? Because he had his brain, right? So
yeah, you see that backpack there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that housed the computer and the power supply for his laser pistol, etc. And also he had this like amniotic fluid that would go through his human parts to forestall the process of, you know, essentially dying totally. So yeah, so he would decompose when that fluid would, you know, he had the hose would sometimes be severed and he would decompose a little bit and then come back. But again, just a great series. Rich Buckler did the art, Monk did the stories.
I like Buckler.
Yeah, Buckler was pretty good and perfect for. By the way, this is also very violent for a Marvel comic. You don't see it. You see it like in silhouette, like they'll shoot somebody and then there'll be splurts of liquid coming out the back, obviously blood and, you know, gore. So it was very violent compared to most, you know, Spider-Man, Daredevil, those kind of things. So that is my first entry into this No Faces chat theme.
That's a good choice. I like it all. All right. Well done. Well, I guess I gave 3 entries in my one, but that's all right. I'll take a short spin.
All right.
With more than meets the eye, the Transformers. Now these, they're robots, right? I mean, they're 100% robots. Even though they have some android type qualities, they're never really trying to replicate humanity, and they are sentient.
They're sentient, yeah.
But they're sentient robots.
Sentient robots.
It doesn't make them androids, and it doesn't make them cyborgs.
Nope, it doesn't. They're almost like their own, like a sentient robot. I think should be like a 4th category, really.
Oh, wait, I got to change the thumbnail now? Well, jeez, Roger.
Well, they are unique in that they come from a planet, you know, where they all are the same type of beings, even if they are not biological. But they have consciousness, they have morals, they have emotions, etc. So,
yes, they do.
I mean, I don't think I could compare them to, you know, like, you know, any old robot. You know, I mean, they seem like another level up somehow, like an evolutionary offshoot from a robot somehow.
I agree, but does that cut them up? I mean, it doesn't move them into android or cyborg territory for sure.
No, it does not. No, not by the definitions that we've been going on. Nope. But are they just
AI? Yeah, but, I can agree with that.
AI, yeah. But would you just say, oh, you know, okay, let's do a comparison. Okay, let's just think about this for a second, right? Would you compare? If you're making me,
If you're making me think about it,
would you say that a transformer, right, is on the same level as a robot that bottles Coca-Cola?
It depends, because I think if you're going to use the term robot, like when I think of whatever is bottling Coca-Cola, I'm just going to call it a machine. A machine can run simple programming, but to me, a robot has motion. It moves. It can go from point A to B. Right. Like, you know, my coffee pot's not a robot. It's a machine maybe, but it's not a robot. Correct. So I would say that the Coke bottling machine is not a robot at all.
But it moves. It has an arm that.
No, it has motion.
It has motion.
It cannot travel. Like, to me, a robot can move from place to place, and almost determine its own path. You know, not set on a conveyor, not, you know, running a track.
That's fine. That's fine. Would you consider then something like a robotic like vehicle? equated to a transformer.
I don't know. See, I thought about that. Like, what about mechs? A mech is still not a robot, really. Right. It's being piloted, but it also doesn't make it a cyborg because they're separable. You can separate them.
That's my point, though, that all those types of robots need human input for them to function correctly, whether it's programming or whether it's actual, user interface, right? But a transformer needs nothing of that. It has its own sentience, and it's created on another planet where others are created as well without human interference, only by their own input, right?
Yes, but I would still say that the sentient robot is just another classification of robot. I don't think it elevates it. It is higher than other robots. It's a better robot, but I don't think it makes it its own category necessarily.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
Whatever. We'll see. Well, it's still a robot. It still counts. I mean, we're arguing about how well it fits in the theme, not whether it fits at all.
It counts.
We're good with that.
To me, I think it's another level of robot. I think you said that as well, but to me, it's a level which really would require a different definition because, again, I can't equate, something like a mech, versus something that is sentient in and of itself, not because a human had some kind of input into it. But anyway, keep going.
I'm with you. Just not all the way. Here's another one. All right. And I'll let that be my next one because I'm exhausted. Well, actually, I was going to show another one, though, but I didn't get it pulled. Hold on 1 second. I can be quick about it. Look, it's with the razzle-dazzle system. You just wait right there.
Is it in the cabinet?
Yeah, I just want to get a good example of it.
All right. Hey, Damien, how you doing, buddy? And hey, John, Dr. Von Chilla. Can't stay, but I just wanted to say howdy, you all. Well, it's great to see you, even if it's just for a little bit, John.
All right. So here's two more, slightly different. This one doesn't make my case here, but that's a robot, right? I mean, it's a droid, so they'll call it like an android, but it's a robot, right?
Yeah, I agree.
But this is what to me C-3PO falls under the category of android.
Yeah.
And also falls under the category to me of sentient, like a sentient robot as well.
Well,
so I think he's
he's
definitely sentient.
He's well programmed.
Oh,
I wouldn't say he's sentient. I mean, if for example, a transformer, right, can die. Once their sentience is gone, it's gone forever. A C-3PO has various different. There are many C-3POs. Transformers are unique.
Yeah, but they all have different personalities based on their experiences.
Based on their experiences, that's correct. Well, I guess you can say that about anything. That's true.
Well, anything that's sentient.
Anything that's sentient.
You couldn't say that against something that was just very well programmed. No, regardless of its experience, it's not going to develop anything beyond its programming.
Right.
But I think the sentient nature of some of these robots allow them to develop based on their experiences, additional, personalities and such.
I agree, but I think the difference being that C-3PO is sentient because of his programming. Transformers are sentient because they were created sentiently. In other words, they weren't programmed. They actually have a life experience, which makes up their programming. C-3PO has his programming, which is enhanced by his experience. And I think there's a slight difference there.
I think
I see your point.
Data would be a sentient cyborg or a sentient android. He's definitely an android.
Definitely. Yeah.
I think when you get to android territory, there is some assumed level of autonomy and sentient behavior.
Assumed, but not necessarily. There can be outside controlled androids that don't have any sentience of their own.
Look at this. Look, Paul is saying the model is common, being a C-3PO is common, but he has his own character because he's sentient.
I agree. Because of because the way he was used is different than any other C-3PO. That's true. That's true.
All right, let's see what Damien says. This is interesting.
Yeah.
Android subset of robot. I thought just a matter of shape. Then these synthesoids.
Yeah.
Look at this. My head hurts. Look, John, we're breaking John's. See, and I thought about what is Darth. He's a cyborg at this point.
Yes, definitely cyborg.
Bound by the laws of Asimov. I don't know. Do you think he would pass the test? Could he not harm humans? I mean, there's definitely robots that do, and certainly of his type.
I don't think he would pass the Asimov laws, because I think it says that if you see a human in danger, you have to intervene and try to help. And C-3PO will run the other way more likely than not.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, he's higher skewed to self-preservation.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So I don't think that. Listen, Star Wars. I always have this argument about Star Wars. It is not science fiction, not in almost any way. Right. So I mean, I wouldn't compare, Asimov's 3 laws to anything that you find in Star Wars.
Yeah. If we're going to be applying tests and such and these, we would have to get these all in a room, BattleBot style, and then
go at it
and see who comes out on top, as you will. So, yeah, that sounds like a plan to me. All right.
Look what Comment Chef is saying. Would you consider Iron Man a robot?
No.
The
Iron Suit is a vehicle.
Is a vehicle, right?
Detachable. It's not part of him.
Okay.
I guess he's got the power cell, right? In his chest.
Got the power cell in his. That's right.
I was going to
say. So would he be a cyborg?
Dang it. Now my head hurts. I'm going to go to the 5th floor with John. Hang out at the loony bin.
There's such gray areas in this.
That's a really good question, though.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to tackle that. Star Wars robots get sentience after some time, thus they would swipe their memory to prevent this. Yes, I agree. If they don't like the way a robot is turning, then they'll clear it out. It's great science. It's one of the, that's not what he said. That's the opposite of what he said. What's he doing?
Bill is orally dyslexic, so he'll hear one thing and it'll be enough in his brain. When he was wired, they mixed up a few of them.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right.
I love these
General Grievous.
Really
General Grievous is cyborg.
Yeah.
He had a human heart.
Human heart and brain, you would think. Yeah.
And eyes, I think, too.
And eyes, correct. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. All right. No. All right. I'm letting you look. We're talking a lot of people have mentioned vision, so I want to hear what you have to say about that.
Okay. So vision, right. I actually have there's a progression here of how Vision, Ultron, and we'll talk about Vision, right? So okay. He does not have metal parts. Let's get that out of the way. All right.
Right.
He has
some sort of synthetic, right?
He is human. He is human internally, but synthetic. So his heart is not made of flesh. It is made out of some other kind of, I'm not sure exactly what, but it's not.
Well, that narrows it down for us. We appreciate you stopping by there. Right?
Well, I don't read. Listen, I forgot to read the darn Marvel Universe entry for him before I did this. I was busy. It's tax season, bud.
Tax season.
Yeah.
Don't I know it?
So he was created by Ultron, but his brain waves were from Wonder Man, right? The brain wave impressions, not the memories and not the consciousness, just the patterns were what Wonder Man's.
Okay.
He was created to obey Ultron and as a weapon, and of course, just like a lot of these others that we're talking about rebelled and had his own consciousness, his own moral fabric, and decided, in fact, to help the Avengers against Ultron. So,
and what was that fabric made of? His moral fabric. What was it made of?
It's ethereal. It's a concept. It's not an actual fabric. I was speaking metaphorically.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. All right. Yikes.
It can only get worse. Remember that.
Right. So, so the interesting though is that Ultron himself, which I have next here, was the opposite. He was created by Hank Pym to be, more of a helper, and he got his own consciousness, but it was skewed evil instead of good, like Vision. So you see like dichotomy there. I mean, I'm not sure how you can sort of make things so that it doesn't go your way, but it went opposite what their creators wanted of them. But Ultron is a tough cookie, and he was not an android looking like he is there. He looked more like a weird kind of refrigerator kind of thing. I mean, it was, he had a weird body. It wasn't meant to mimic a human.
What are you shaming us with weird bodies now? Is that what's going on here?
Well, robotically speaking, I mean, he wasn't android shaped. He wasn't shaped like a human, like he is there.
Right.
He had like this thin little. His pelvis was like this thin little rod, and then he had kind of a oval shaped torso. It was kind of odd looking. And he had this big kind of triangular head, I think. I don't remember exactly what it looked like now. But again, you sort of see what happens here. I mean, you had a robot or android make another android. So, but with human brain patterns. As far as I know, Ultron had no input as far as his brain pattern. I think it was all programming that just somehow got corrupted or something.
Look, we've caused chaos to chaos. Collecting chaos.
But Vision is definitely an android subset synthezoid because no metal parts. Okay.
All right.
Ultron was more robot-like. In other words, he didn't mimic a human. Now he mimics a human. He has his own consciousness. So he is I don't know what you want to call him. He's a sentient robot. That's it. Yeah.
What else could you call him?
Not learning from the previous experience with the Vision, he went ahead and created a female companion out of the brain patterns of Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp, and made Jocasta, who again didn't want to be his partner, and instead, for a brief period, joined the Avengers against him. Yeah. He is definitely an android because look at the nice,
there's no doubt,
very nice lady, shape.
But you called it he's an android in a lady's body?
No, she. I called her.
She's an android.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said he's an android.
He was programmed with Janet Van Dyne's brain pattern. So
I thought maybe it was wait for it, transdroid. Ah! You're welcome, internet.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's Bub for you. What else can you expect here?
Yeah, I know. Good luck with that.
All right. Now this here, definitely not an android. Herbie the robot.
Wasn't he a love bug?
Love bug? No.
Yeah, wasn't Herbie the love bug?
Well, yeah, in the movies he was a Volkswagen. Yeah, but
at that point, I think he was a possessed machine. He still wasn't a robot.
No, that was fantasy stuff there, Bub. There was no science behind that. Yeah.
I have boobs on robots.
Yeah, I guess Nimrod would, right? Because he was created to be a sentinel of some sort. I'm going to talk about sentinels in a little bit too. Okay. But he was created by Reed Richards and programmed. Now he was at one point corrupted by, I forgot who, like I don't know if it was Machine Smith, some kind of villain, and he attacked the Fantastic Four. But he was really more like a helper robot. More of a traditional non-android helper robot.
The old non-android helper robots. I know them well. Yeah. I also know the non-helpful android robots. There's lots of those out there too. The ones that are more harmful, like they're programmed to help, but they're really more harmful than helpful.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, look at Gray Man. Yeah, I'd buff Jocasta up with a chamois leather.
Yeah, I'm sure he would. But he's an old metalhead. You got to remember that.
I know.
Kirby's possessed. I think at some point programming and magic kind of swap over, and now once you got magic in a machine. Yeah. I guess it's a sentient, but really it's not the machine that's sentient. It's the spirit that's inhabiting it. That makes sense. I'm struggling on that one a little bit.
Yeah, and this Herbie did not have sentience. He had a very clever programming, but he was possessed by some kind of malevolent force and attacked his his helper, the team that created him. But I don't think he was ever sentient per se. I could be wrong. I don't remember every little detail about it. What the heck is Sikorsky? Isn't that a helicopter?
I thought it was a type of crystal that people try to pass off as diamonds.
That's Swarovski. That's Swarovski.
Bless you.
Yeah, I think my wife has one. I'm not too sure.
Your wife has a Sikorsky?
No, not a helicopter. One of those crystal things. I think she does. I
think Sikorsky might have been the Accords that they signed.
Oh, that's right.
America went rogue.
That's right. Wasn't that right?
Accords?
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, let me finish with this.
Now Jackson said it's a sentient robot. I quit.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know enough to opine about that. Sentinels. What would you consider them?
I think they're zirconiums, according to Chaos. and you can't measure them with a circumference, but then cubics. It's cubic zirconiums.
Yeah, Machine Smith I think would be more of cyborg too, because I think he has human consciousness.
The Starjammers. Sikorsky from the Starjammers.
Oh, Sikorsky from the Starjammers.
Does that help any? I don't know anything about any Starjammers.
Yeah, he has some kind of cybernetic parts, I think. I'm not that up on him, so I'm not going to opine about that.
All right.
Sentinels.
Yeah, it's in the name.
Yeah, true. They look out for stuff, don't they?
And they're definitely Android-esque.
They're Android-esque, although they're much bigger. Well, this version is. There were other versions.
There's smaller ones too.
Yeah, there were. Yeah. But definitely they don't have consciousness of their own. At least not while I was reading the X-Men. Who knows what happened later on. So either Android or straight up robots, I would say, with very, very, very dangerous functions. So and there's another one there. Yeah. All right, go on, Bub. While I my other stuff here.
I want to talk about a different type. We haven't talked about this yet. These are going to be probably androids. I think I would have to say that by their very definition, they're all going to be androids. But let's talk about the robot doppelgangers.
Ooh.
There we go. We got Albert for Wolverine. Looked just like Wolverine. Until you started ripping his skin off and found a bunch of metal-y bits under. But until then, he looked just like him. Okay. Albert, of course, and invariably, the robot doppelganger is meant to. What's the classic storyline? First, they pose as the hero. They do wrongdoings, right, to defame the hero,
right,
and then they set out to eliminate the hero. Right after everyone's turned their back on the hero, now they're set out to eliminate them. So that's pretty much the standard robot doppelganger story. So here you go. Death in Venice with Albert and Wolverine fighting there. And then here's some more Albert and another one. That's LCD, another android set to kill Wolverine. And her story was that she had, of course, first you see Albert, he gets repaired. I think Elsie repairs Albert, if I recall. So Albert used to look like that. And then after a battle with Wolverine, he was pretty much destroyed. And then LCD comes back and fixes Albert. And that makes them a team to where Albert is forever in her debt. And so, and she is set out to kill Wolverine also. She doesn't really know it. She thinks she's just after Wolverine, like to be with him. But she actually has a bomb inside of her head. And when she gets close enough to Wolverine, it's supposed to explode and murder Wolverine. So the whole thing is that she can't get too close. Of course, it ends up getting deactivated. And then both of them become friends of Wolverine over time. And then later on, they even appear to help Wolverine. They come back. Here's LCD and Albert again. Two androids brought together by their love. First by their hate of Wolverine, although one of them unknowingly, and then by their love of Wolverine. Oh, isn't that great? All right. So Albert's like the Terminator or robot in disguise. Stop with the robot in disguise, Jackson Roy Kirk. I tell you, we've already showed him. I tried to appease the man. It didn't work. All right. So Middleman. All right. And then here's another one, Hardak. Which is one of Batman's doppelgangers, robot doppelgangers, who was originally just a mainframe computer who was in charge of creating androids. So he created androids, and then he decided to make an android of Batman, or he was set to make an android of Batman, and then he transferred his sentient consciousness into that android, thus becoming basically the android of Batman, the doppelganger of Batman. And of course, Batman helps him and they become friends, as is always the case most of the time with these doppelgangers. LCD or LCD? Yes, exactly. So her name is LCD, but the reason that she has that name is because it is LCD. Yep. Which at the time was high-tech stuff. So I'm bringing it. You didn't think we were going to get into some robot doppelgangers, did you, Roger?
You got me on that one. You're right.
I tell you, every now and then I even impress myself.
You got me.
All right.
You got me.
Yeah, Superman, Superboy robots. That was one I was telling Roger. I was looking for a book before we started that I could have sworn I had one of the Superman robot ones, but I can't find it. So I guess I got rid of it or gave it to, I probably sent it over to like starving, comic addicts in another country.
In Australia.
There was some sort of booth at a convention I went to, and they said for the price of a cup of coffee or some free comics, I could help a comic addict across the world. And I sent a couple of books, and I think that's what it was. So anyway.
Okay.
All right. What you got, Roger?
All right. Well, hard to follow up that story. That was a tearjerker, I tell you.
I know I wouldn't want to follow it up.
Well, one of the early cyborgs here, Steve Austin, the $6 million man.
$6 million.
Yeah. Very, injured in a crash during an experimental flight of a spacecraft. His one eye, one arm, and both legs, I believe, were either mangled or had to be removed.
I think they were crushed.
I think they were just, it was a bad crash. Yeah. So, an agency came up with a method of you know, giving him back his mobility and sight and so forth. He initially rejected that, but eventually,
naturally,
of course, right? That's the hero's journey there,
right?
But eventually he agreed and became an agent. I forgot what that organization was called, but and he, although he was definitely, you know, difficult to work with because he had his own methods of doing things. He would not kill, for example. But obviously with his eye, he had a telescopic vision. His bionic arm was, I don't know, I forgot what they said, 30 or 40 times stronger. And of course he could run at speeds of like a car. So yeah, so this is one of those cyborgs, early cyborgs there.
Ron Rula says lost both his legs. Reckon his wank is intact or robotic.
I think so, because he certainly had no problems finding ladies. So
yeah,
you know,
hey,
I mean, not everybody is in for that, but you know what I mean, right? So
well, it wasn't mentioned on the list. You know, remember in the beginning of the show, they would like scan through all the body parts that had been,
yeah,
you know, amplified or replaced. Yeah. They never went across his crotch and showed any kind of like, you know, appendage being added.
Yeah,
so
this was the 70s, so I would doubt that would have been mentioned, you know, if it did occur.
But, yeah, Great Man says Wangus intactus. He believes.
Yes, I think we can safely say that he
is Wangus intactus. You agree with that?
That way, yeah. All right. So here we go. No Man. Do you know about No Man, Bub?
I know of No Man. Yeah, it was an offshoot of Thunder Agents, wasn't it?
He was one of the Thunder Agents,
and he was a shifting. He was, I mean, technically, when he reconstituted, he was an android, but he could phase through things. He was like a Spectre, kind of.
He could, yes, he could. Very somewhat similar to the Vision in some regards. The difference being is that he was a scientist whose consciousness would be transferred into the No Man android body, and if that body was destroyed or immobilized or whatever, he could take his consciousness and put it into another. He had like a whole various areas around the world where he had these bodies stored, and each one of those bodies would, like you said, had the power to grow intangible. He had a few other powers as well, but so he had, his consciousness was human, but no part of No Man had any human parts in it. So
definitely not a cyborg.
I mean, I think if we're saying you need to have some kind of human parts, then yeah, and that's what Gray was saying about Machine Smith as well, that he was originally a human and then only his consciousness was transferred in. So a human conscious android?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I also think that when we talk about cyborgs, and this is kind of odd, I'm sure, but I would think that the human aspect has to be the one that's making the decisions in some way. Yeah, it has to be in control of the robotic aspect.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay.
100%.
All right.
So yeah, but I don't think there were no human parts, at least not once he transferred his consciousness to the first No Man android. So but yeah, android with human consciousness.
Yeah.
Well, we're splitting hairs. We're re-splitting hairs.
Here. Yeah, I thought they were split already, but it turns out there's more splitting available.
I tell you, man, and these guys in the chat are
fine as a frog's hair split both ways down the middle or something.
Yeah, we're creating fission here, splitting atoms.
Yes.
All right.
The Vision. He's an android. We talked about that.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. Metalman. Somebody in the chat. I think James collecting chaos. Hey, Cap, how you doing, buddy? So, all right. So let's talk about this, because the lore changed in the 90s about the Metalman. Originally, they had no human consciousness. They had a semblance of emotion by a responsimeter, which was created by Will Magnus. Okay. A responsimeter. That's what it was called. That device. That
is it not the responsometer?
Okay, maybe it's the responsometer. I call it the responsimeter. But I don't know.
Is
I
it
don't know
emitting responses or is it omitting responses?
It infuses human-like responses to situations. Yes. Right. And it also gives them the ability to change shape based upon the properties of their metal. Okay. So, right. Gold could, obviously become ductile and long, etc. Lead could create a shield and things like that, and lower melting point, whatever it is.
I'm still here.
All right. But later on in the 90s, I read a series where it said that actually these were humans that died during an experiment that Will Magnus was conducting, and he had a device to transfer their consciousness into these robots he had already made. And so, although they have amnesia as to their prior life, their personalities, like you see how, like, for example, Platinum, Tina, is in love with Will Magnus. Well, that's because that lady who died during that experiment was infatuated with Will Magnus at the time.
Okay.
The fact that Tin was stuttered and was insecure was because he was a janitor, in the facility, etc. I might be wrong about the specifics, but not the general of what occurred. Okay.
Right.
So again, we're talking about robots, but I think previously they can be considered androids because they have a human shape and their natural form, but they can change shape. So I don't know how you would want to classify them that way, because
But their shape changing was mechanical in nature, wasn't it?
Correct.
So I think it still counts. I think there's definitely still robots. I don't know.
But the previous, before that series in the 90s or I forgot exactly when it was, I would call them just robots with very, very advanced reactions, human-like emotions, etc.
Right.
But now, if we're talking about those other metal men with the human consciousness, I mean, I guess they're still robots because there's no human parts in them. But now they're that level of consciousness, that higher level of consciousness android robot. So be that as, I know. Well, my brain has turned to mush already. So
yeah, this is getting muddled.
Yeah. Yeah. So the metal men were kind of like No Man in the fact that they had a consciousness infused into their, into their robotic bodies, but they couldn't transfer them out normally. But Will Magnus could do it with a machine there. Okay. Collecting Chaos says, I think Countdown of Crisis changed it back, and Magnus couldn't get the response emitters to work right. Okay. All right.
So what does that mean? That they were now sentient?
Well, he said changed it back. So I'm assuming that they changed it back to non-sentient. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But I have to hunt that down, James, about the Countdown to Crisis. All right, we're kind of running late here, so I'll hurry up here.
I'm exhausted.
Okay. Yeah. you picked the topic, Bub. Remember this.
I know, and you know what's funny is that I was gonna make it just robots, or just androids, or just cyborgs, but I decided to include all three to avoid the debate.
Okay. All right.
Oh, how foolish I was.
All right. So this is kind of like this, similar to Ultron here, right? I mean, I believe it was Brainiac 5 that created Computo to help out during a situation which I do not recall right now. And again, it turned evil. And I forgot why that occurred. In the Silver Age, silliness was everywhere, right? So.
Oh yeah.
And I think he's the one who actually killed one of Triplicate Girl's clones or other bodies, whatever it was back then.
Triplicate
So
girl.
not an android initially, because as you can see, nobody would confuse that form with human form, but definitely had an evil consciousness and could, had its own way of thinking, apart from its programming.
Mm-hmm.
So somewhat like Ultron in that sense.
Somewhat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, Robot Man. What is Robot Man?
Well, he was another accident, wasn't he? Victim?
Yes, correct. Well, what would you classify him as?
Well, isn't he more or less working? I guess he's a cyborg.
Yeah,
he has a real brain, doesn't he?
He has a real brain. That's right. That was the only part that was rescued from the accident. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say he's straight cyborg.
Yeah. All right, cyborg it is. I won. I got it right.
You got it, but you know your stuff, man. You give yourself some credit.
I know someone else's stuff. I do the best I can with my stuff.
All right. Well, we'll talk about him in a minute. Obviously, this is a slam dunk. Cyborg is his name, so
yeah, we're going with that.
I don't think we have to discuss that. Victor Stone.
It's rather lazy naming, but it's still a name.
Yeah, true enough. Obviously his head, part of his torso. He had a lot of human parts, but also had about half and half, I think, robotic and human, but highly advanced robotic parts.
Very nice.
All right, and lastly, Red Tornado.
Thank goodness.
So what would you consider Red Tornado?
Terrible name for a villain or hero. I don't know anything about the Red Tornado except that they could have centered that DC-20 center a little better.
Yeah, you know that era, forget it. It's like you found a couple that were well centered, but those are rare. Okay, Jackson Roy Kirk says android. I agreed. Look at his shape, right?
Collecting Chaos agrees. Android.
Yeah, although he's got a red face, so
still, I mean, he could be really angry, like an angry person.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can sort of tell he's not totally human, off the bat. Right. I would think, right? But I don't think he had any human parts. I believe he was fully mechanical. Advanced, yes, and he had a semblance of emotions, as you can see by his downturned face there when he thought he killed the JLA. He has regret, perhaps, or guilt,
Yeah.
But yeah, I would think android, but very, very highly functioning with a semblance of emotions. Again, I think like every other being we talk about here is sort of unique in that sense. They all have their little characteristics which are slightly different from the next. But I think Red Tornado, I don't think we'll disagree that there was never any human part of him. Now this is the Bronze Age. There was a Red Tornado in the Golden Age, which was a lady with a pan,
a ham,
a pot for her helmet and things like that. But Gray Man says Cyborg was some sort of wind demon in him at some point. Okay, maybe that later on that was the case. Yeah, but during the Bronze Age, I don't remember them ever talking about that. So.
Yeah, get it straight.
Yeah, let's not forget Cyborg, Superman, and Metallo. Yeah, listen, I was very busy today. I couldn't pull every comic that had a cyborg, a robot, or an android in it, James. But yes, that's correct.
I mean, you could have, but you chose not to, is what you're saying.
Well, my boss would have kind of been upset if I hadn't finished some reports for him. Yeah, true.
Look, you got to have priorities, Roger. We've had this discussion.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Well, if I
clean your room while you're at it.
Yeah, well, I did that already. Yeah. I get it from all parts here. I get it from you, from the wife, and from my boss. So, I'm getting it from all sides here.
You're doing well, maintaining it all. You're doing a great job.
That's my last one. Great.
Have one of the other people give you a raise.
Oh no, that's fine. I have no complaints about what I'm getting paid or anything. A great topic. I didn't think we would go into this level of specificity, but I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, me too. This was a lot of fun. I really had a good time with it. Probably too much fun with it as usual. That's how I know it's a good topic when I can't stop enjoying it. And this is already going on so long. There's nothing I can do. We've enjoyed it fully. But I'm just going to show off two more by popular demand. We got the Human Torch, the original Human Torch, who was an android.
Oh, yes. Excellent. Yes.
So there you go. There's Human Torch, the original androidy Human Torch. And if that Bronze Age doesn't cure your itch, we'll throw...
and which body was... What happened to his body in the Bronze Age?
They turned him into a pleasure doll. Is that not right?
Wasn't the Vision made from?
Yes, it's the Vision. Yeah, it turns into the Vision. There you go.
Well, I mean, Ultron modified obviously quite a bit, but I think that was like the template. Yeah, the base for him.
Oh goodness,
that might have changed. They when I gave up comics in the 20th century, things change after that. So who knows?
Did you say the 20th century?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like the years that started with 19, Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't have any that you in the 2000s?
Well, I stopped buying new comics then. I do have some, but I didn't have a full list. Vision was made from a copy of the.
From a copy, so it's not the original body.
Not the original body. Yeah.
Thank you for the clarification, Collecting Chaos.
Yeah, that's true because in West Coast Avengers he did show up, or was that Toro? Well, somebody showed up that claimed to be the Human Torch. So.
I don't like Toro.
Well, he doesn't like you either, probably.
Well, yeah, but that's you can be sentient and still be a dummy.
That's what, I know quite a few, Bob. Poorly. I know quite a few of them actually. I mean, obviously, you need very little brain function to actually survive because I know quite a few that are not that hot.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right. Yes, we've beat this robotic horse to death.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
We have
people are still arguing about the robo wangs.
There's no horse parts left. We beat it so much.
Nope, it's over. It's all dog food.
Purely robotic. Yeah.
All right. Well, we did it. Lucky us. I want to thank everyone who showed up tonight in the chat and panel and all that good stuff. More robots. Watch it on the replay if you want to argue anymore. Leave a comment below and all that stuff about what makes a robot. What do you prefer in your gentlemanly robot lover versus your your android and your synthetics and your cyborgs and the new term coined here first tonight, trans droids. If you're into that, that's fine. So there you go. All right, Roger, what do you got coming up on your fine channel or any of the channels in which you'll be gracing?
Oh boy. Let's see. I just put out a video today of the great AOK I got from Black Boss, Silver, and Bronze, otherwise known as Tennessee Joe. So check that out if you want to see some unique giveaways and promo comics. I will probably be dropping a video on Thursday. I'm not exactly sure what it is. And Biggie Shack invited me on his channel on Friday night to play some sort of comic book poker. So
that sounds interesting.
It does. I'm not exactly sure what it's about, but he just said to get 5 comics, and we're gonna be. Now, hopefully, I don't have to gamble them away, but apparently,
you better find out before you sign up.
Yeah, I better find out before the contract is signed in blood there. But
yeah, that's yeah.
But I think
you'd be shamed across the whole community as a Welch.
9 o'clock. Yeah, I don't want that to happen. 9 o'clock on Biggie Shack's channel. I'll go on there and I'll probably lose, but I don't care. I'll have fun, and Biggie's always a barrel of laughs as it is.
Information to finish up with. Sure. There you go. There's one. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Here's another one. And here's another one. Look at that. Hey. Yeah, good stuff.
Neat input,
all right.
Neat input.
Sounds like fun. Sounds like you got a lot going on. Rom, boy, there's so many left. We could do an episode 2 with many more ground rules. We'll start. We'll start because I'm not getting drug into this debate again. All right. So I don't have a whole lot going. I'm going to be putting out some more content this week, so I'm looking forward to that. I put out a few videos last week. I was very proud and did so well. I patted myself on the back for 3 days. Didn't put on anymore. And then also got some. I didn't technically get any comics for my birthday, like specifically. But I got a lot of comic related things and some original art came in and just kind of I had comics flying and stuff falling out of the sky for all weekend long. It was great. Had a big time. So I'll do some hauls on some of that stuff and show that off. That's what's coming up. Of course, next week you'll be available, Roger.
Roger.
All right. Sounds good. So we'll be back next week for the Them Dare No Facities comic chat. Roger. And that'll be fun. All right. So what do you want to tell the fine folks at home there, Roger?
Be kind to each other, be blessed, and be back. And don't put up with any robotic trash.
That's a good one. I like that. Yeah. And be careful with your robotic and if you ordered robotic trash on the internet, you pay for what you get. Make sure you make an appointment at the health department for a tetanus shot. And don't forget to read a comic, even the one encased in solid air. And don't apologize for the glare. Bye-bye.